What's up, everybody? Opening Drive Sports Bar, hanging out with you once again.
Up.
He's back. Well, was he already back? Who knows with Tiger Woods, but we got the amazing moment at the Masters. I didn't think he was ever going to win a major again. I knew he was competing, he was playing at a high level. I didn't think we'd ever see the red on a Sunday making that kind of impact. It was special to see.
There had been a lot of downness in Tiger's latest return. And, yeah, I think, I didn't think he would ever do that well again. But, the possibility of winning a major, yeah, it could happen. But the way he played this past weekend at the Masters, especially Saturday and Sunday, was just phenomenal. It wasn't like the old days, but it was really reminiscent of the old days.
It was close.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, 18's in play again.
18 is absolutely alive for Tiger Woods. And Jeff has brought this up when we were talking about it this week on the opening drive, is his fall from grace. We've seen comeback stories, but have we ever seen a GOAT do that? Because Tiger Woods is the greatest or one of the greatest of all time to do what he does. So we've seen high-level athletes bounce back and come back,
right?
But I don't think we've ever seen someone take that dramatic of a fall and then climb their way back, not only just on the golf course, but within the public perception.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever seen anything like that because, with Tiger, it wasn't just the injuries and the surgeries. There was also the very public breakup of his marriage, the pill problems, passing out in his car at a stoplight, and all that. Yeah, the closest I guess you could come to is if the NBA had actually admitted they were suspending Michael Jordan for gambling when he went to play baseball. Then you could say maybe Jordan, but since they did that whole facade of, oh, no, he's leaving to play baseball, I guess you can't really count.
So the Tiger story is fascinating because he gave us a moment of what was, and that was the greatness of Tiger Woods. And there's no doubt in my mind for the next few years we're going to see him playing at that level.
For sure, because, if you go back and look, the last three majors, if you total up all the scores, Tiger's 3 strokes better than the closest competitor. So while we all, at least I know I did, focused on the rough starts in tournaments and struggling to make cuts at times, he was actually playing pretty well when it mattered most to him, and that's the majors.
The Tiger Woods story was big. So was Steve Alford back in the Mountain West at Nevada. It just adds another layer to what has already become an interesting matchup versus Nevada. The games they played here at the pit, whether it was that crazy comeback in Craig Neal's last year, whether it was Paul Weir and his Lobos knocking off an undefeated Nevada team, but Alford coming back, the memories of what once was, is going to be awesome for the Mountain West and just another level for the New Mexico Lobos.
Yeah, I think this is really good for Nevada. I think it keeps them very relevant. It's great for the Mountain West Conference. It adds star power. This conference always needs more star power. And it certainly adds even more to the Lobo-Nevada rivalry. You mentioned those 2 recent games here at the pit. Now you just add another layer with the former Lobo coach now at the helm.
The record of each team is going to say a lot about what that game is going to be like. Yes, there's going to be a lot of boos for Steve Alford, but if somehow, someway, Nevada's the team that's winning and the Lobos are struggling whenever that first matchup happens to be here at the pit, that's going to be an interesting atmosphere.
Also, Steve Alford hasn't announced a coaching staff yet. Personally, I don't think it happens, but there's an awful lot of talk about maybe Craig Neal reuniting with Steve Alford. Then you're talking about the last 2 Lobo coaches coming in here, and that adds just a whole other
Juicy
dynamic.
It's for the talking heads, for the fans, it would be awesome. Speaking about reuniting, Anthony Mathis is back. Not as a coach, not as a fan. He's going to play basketball next season. We watched senior night, right? We watched him say his goodbyes and how much he loved playing for the Lobos. He's playing basketball next year. What?
It's really weird. First of all, let's make no mistake. This is great for UNM. This is great for Anthony Mathis. This is so unlike the NCAA in a situation like this to grant an extra year. You can't help but wonder, why. And again, it's not a bad thing, but the
bizarre.
NCAA doesn't do
they
this.
Don't do that, yeah.
But they did it.
If you just look at specific Lobo situations, Bryson Carroll played 2 snaps, and they didn't give him back that year of football. Carlton Bragg didn't play, but transferred mid-semester, so they made sure that was an exact year. There's 2 different sides. It's great for Lobo basketball because they got one of the best shooters in program history back, but then also the bizarro world of the NCAA and just not knowing what that means. And is this Pandora's box? Is this the first time we're going to see this? Is this the only time? I think this opens a lot of avenues for other players. And then I know you guys brought it up on the sports bar. Is there going to be something more about his sophomore season with Craig Neal, because what would be enough to convince the NCAA to give a player a year back in which he only played 64 minutes, but he played?
Right, and it's interesting. Look, maybe the NCAA is still riding that high of the Final Four and the national championship, and they were just in a really good mood. But that is, again, that's so NCAA-like. Mm-hmm. You do have to wonder, because that was what they went back on his sophomore year, and 10 games, 64 minutes. But it's not like they were 10 games early and then he didn't play anymore. They were spread out through the season. He was playing games in the latter part of the season. Maybe it's being cynical, but you can't help but look at this and wonder what exactly, when they made this appeal to the NCAA, they said happened or gave as the reasons for all this, if there isn't more to it. Because otherwise, it's very surprising that the NCAA, just out of the goodness of their heart, says, yes, Anthony, you should have another year.
Well, I know I'll be on the edge of my seat waiting for the Neal report to be released to discover what the heck happened that year that Anthony
Robert Bowler is flying in town as we speak.
Got that year back. Opening drive, 7 to 10, Sports Bar, 3 to 7, every day, Monday through Friday.
Absolutely. And your weekly Benchwarmers code word is FUN, F-U-N.
All right.